Hey, hello and welcome. We're going to get started soon. Let's make sure Spotlight is fine. Okay. We have some interpreters from our GAP Mentee program joining us here to interpret for us today. And so I just want to make sure everybody gets up and ready before we begin. As you can all see, we are a small group today, and that's all right. It's just us, a family here, and that's all right. But welcome visitors and guests, family, friends, everyone who came here today to support our program here, support the mentees who are here today to receive their certificates. And thank you for our partners who were present here today. We look forward to honoring everybody that makes this program work. So my name is Amy Anderson. I am the GAP Educational Interpreter Director here for the program for our track mentorship programs. And currently we offer a GAP cycle that runs in winter, spring, summer, and fall. Those are 8-week cycles, and they support interpreters in education, those that are in K-12 settings and looking for EIPA development. Our other track is TERP Polish, and in that track we support general skill development. We support some of the other batteries of tests and assessments that are available out there to get you ready for those. And we also support some interpreters in the TERP Polish program who are also studying to develop their skills in education. We do have a program today, but I want to be just a little flex in making sure that everyone is able to see everything, make sure everything is accessible, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So the GAP program here was established in 2020. It came out of the need of still needing to, through COVID, to provide professional development and an opportunity for interpreters to practice, to hone in on their skills, to develop their skills, some of them for direct EIPA instruction. And we are just proud to continue to see all the support that it takes in this community to move this profession forward, to come out being a more effective, better, more cognizant interpreter than how you came into the program. So I appreciate, this program and everything that it offers. We did have to figure out how to make it work during COVID, and there's been a lot of trial and errors, but we are in our 3rd year. So this year we are recognizing those mentees who have completed last year's GAP cycles and throughout this past year to current, got an EIPA score of a 4.0 and above. So that is who we are going to be recognizing today. This is our 2nd year doing this, so we hope every year to be able just to be expanding our community, to be seeing more of those success stories that I get to hear and read about all the time that you all share with me. Is an absolute pleasure on my end to be in this role, to be supporting interpreters in our field. So this is just a phenomenal program, and a program that I continue to just be proud of all the energies and all the collective support that goes into this program. And we're making it work online. We are teaching online. We are accessing real life interpreting spaces online, and it's just been developed into a really great program. And our slides there in the intro, I did put in all the different various parts of our program, from ASL ACE, our agency that supports us here, that helps us get this ball rolling here. Its access is Access, Community, and Excellence. So we work a lot in accessible places, by getting accessibility for our community, community outreach. So there's a whole other thing going on out there. And this is the educational sector of that. ASL OWL focuses more on the educational aspects. And They developed ASL just for that reason. So I do want to take a brief moment to recognize by name a few of the behind the scenes people, advocacy, community, and excellence. Thank you, Hannah. The education part and excellence always makes me flip, but I appreciate that, Hannah. Thank you. Advocacy, community, and excellence, ACE. Um, Now I forgot what I was talking about. No, thank you, Hannah. Thank you for the corrections. Moving forward, ASL we are here to recognize those today. So we have kind of a program here, and I am going to have to cut a few things just because it's based off of who showed up. So we're probably not going to run as long as expected, but we will go ahead and take a brief moment to make sure by name we do list some of those people behind the scenes. So we want to take a moment to give a thanks to Kate Durkee, our tech support person, our workshop coordinator. She takes care of all the social media posts and does all the phenomenal work with our flyers. She supports me in so many ways I can't even begin to describe. Our founders are Jacqueline Moore, Wendy Hauser, and Sarah Baker. And they were the ones that came up with this vision of wanting to create an environment, a learning center, a learning community. And so this is their vision carried through. And like I mentioned, we're making it work. We're getting this together and we're all figuring out together, supporting each other, how to move this forward in this virtual setting. I just want to take a brief moment to thank Nancy Hammond, who is our administrative assistant rather. And I want to just point out all the many ways that because we are a nonprofit, we really want to be able to have you all come in and support in some way. If you're looking to develop anything professionally outside of I would say interpreting, like public speaking, if you want more of some of the behind the scenes work of planning, being someone who helps us move this machine forward. If you're interested in that type of work, Nancy's a great example of that. We'll be recognizing her today. She's been through the program and she was able to come back and continue to stay involved in our program in more of an administrative assistance role. So we appreciate all the work that she does. She takes care of our fieldwork schedule and coordinates that, which is just a huge relief off of my plate. She does so much to make sure that the mentees and mentors in these fieldwork spaces are taken care of and supported. So again, thank you so much, Nancy Hammond, and I am really looking forward to honoring you today. Thank you for your contributions to this program. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a quick moment here to switch really quick. I want to pull up and make sure that I'm following our program and make sure that I covered everything that I had intended to cover. And then we're going to start inviting up our guest speakers. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment. Let me check on, make sure the interpreters don't need to do a switch over. And I'll be looking at our program here just to make sure that I am following along. All right. Okay. In addition to the other behind the scenes, more of the in the scenes, I want to recognize, and this is going to segue us into our first guest speaker. Our mentors in this program are phenomenal. They are coming in with all different types of wheelhouses, all different kinds of experiences. It is that multi-view experience that we really need in this professional field. We are a practice profession, and it's important for us to really access other ways of professional development, other intellectual resources. I usually say that we are each other's best resource. We are coming in with experiences. This program being virtual, we're able to work with mentees and mentors that are all over. You saw in the slide there in the beginning, our outreach map. We are covering a lot of states. We have people all over the place. And what it helps us do is get a bigger scope of our deaf community, of our ASL community. It helps us understand there's other regional signs out there, and we sometimes wind up on rabbit trails in some of our classes about what different signs are in different regions. And so it just brings that aspect. And it kind of mirrors back to when we were faced with the challenge of this was on site and turning it into online, how we were going to make that work. And one of the jewels in my crown that I always go back to is an ITP program that I was accepted into in California. It's a specialized grant program for educational interpreters. And when I left that program after 2 years of intensive study, which we effectively called boot camp, it was on site during summer for like a week or two, and then it was done online back in the old VHS days. So with technology now, back then it was one stimulus, and I'd send it to my instructor in a whole other state. And now we're able to use our technology such as GoReact, so we can do things with a lot of different stimulus at the same time. We get to hammer out more skill sets that way too. But when I left that program, one of the things that I took with me, other than being a completely different interpreter than how I came in, rewired and programmed for educational settings, stripped down and rebuilt again. And with that, having the experience throughout that of having deaf and hearing teachers alike all throughout that, by the time I had finished that program, I was instructed by a group of at least 10 instructors that were deaf and hearing, and I got that one-on-one attention and instruction from them. So that is something I always benefited from seeing that, and it's just an absolute joy to have the amount of the caliber of the mentors that we have here and their devotion and dedication and commitment to helping interpreters in this field, especially our newer interpreters, get up out there and begin the work, our work, and the work for our community and our students. So I appreciate all the mentors. I'm going to start turning this over to Paula. Um, Actually, before I do that, I'm going to recognize Gina just in case. So I think she left. I'll just give her one more moment to come back. And I'm actually going to put the slide up here really quick that I had for her that gives some of the information of what she does. One of the ways that our mentees are able to engage in real life practice is by having our partners that open up spaces for us in their world, right, in their environment, in their setting. Having that done online really helps us understand how that virtual presentation works. It's really giving us a lot of the tools that we need just to learn how to be in that environment too. So it's giving us so much. I'm going to go ahead and share my slide here and take a moment to recognize Gina Kitts. Gina, welcome. Let me share screen just so I can get your thing up here. And I am multitasking, so I just want to be able to show this right here, my slide. And I'll probably do big screen. I probably need all of you youngin' people to help me out with this, but that's okay. And I'm just going to stop it right there. Yay. And hopefully that stays. So I'm not able to see you. This is Hooves and Hands. This is Gina Kitts, and she's a licensed professional counselor. She works with horses. She does equine therapy. She is in South Carolina, and so we have the pleasure of, with our local mentees, working on site here for her fundraisers and her community events. We work online interpreting for her professional board meetings. We are just so thankful and so appreciative, Gina, for you opening up your space to us, and we'd like to recognize you today from ASL OWL as a partnership and show you appreciation for the many ways that you open up that setting that we need, that kind of work and development in, and that you allow us to work in there and open that for us. So we do appreciate that so much. A lot of great feedback from our mentees, and we appreciate you. So thank you so much for being one of our program partners. And we would like to be able to send you something here in the mail. So you'll be getting
Amy.
that soon. Gina, did you want to take a moment and say anything? We can spotlight you if you want to say anything at all. Okay. All right. We cannot see the slide right now if you are sharing. Okay. Thank you, Tiffany. Yeah, please let me know because I am multitasking on a laptop. So let me go ahead and do that. And I just have to figure out how to bring it up. That's all. It's okay to take a minute to pause anyways. There's a lot of moving parts here. We just want to make sure everybody has everything that they need to see. So do communicate with me if you're not seeing things. Do that. please. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to show this slide again. Let me know if you can still see it. When I share screen on PowerPoint, I can't see the chat box. So what I can do also, let me see if I can just drop this into the chat box with you, but I want to be able to make sure everybody can see this. And I'm also not able to pull it into the chat box. Okay, let me try this then. Oh my goodness, I might need some young brains over here. Nope, that's not what I want to do there. I know Gina's shaking her head. I know it's technology stuff. We're making it work though. We're figuring it out. I'm just going to go ahead and share screen so y'all can see what I'm seeing. This is what I'm seeing. And I'm going to put up the current slide. So hopefully you can see this slide right here. So if I can get someone to be on a mic here and let me know if you can see this slide.
I don't see it yet. This is Kate Durkee.
Anyone open mic and see if you can see this slide? Yes.
Amy, can you hear me? This is Kate Durkee. I don't see your slide yet.
Okay. And what I can do also at the end, I can share this out with everybody too. Was everyone able to see the slide that way? I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat box. No? Who got those? Okay. We didn't see it. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. Sounds good. Let me try it again. Oh, my mute. Oh. Oh my God. I still have the music on. All right, that music is off for y'all. You should have been hearing that Pomp and Circumstance song. You poor people, I'm so sorry. I was exposing all you people to that song like for the past like half an hour. All right, so that song's on. All right, here we go. I have you up. I can finally hear you. Thank you. All right. So let me go ahead and take care of this. Oh, there's my screen. Okay, I got it. I'm on board, y'all. You couldn't hear the music? Okay. Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, turn that down. Y'all should have not been exposed to that for so long. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. It's just us people here. Anyways, so we're all flexing the space. We have to be flexing the space. We all know how it is. Here's Gina Kitts, and here's her thing. Yay. Okay. And now I can see the people here. Oh, here we are. We've made it. See, we got through it. Thank you. All right, so hopefully y'all can see our screen, hooves and hands from our GAP partnership. We're here to appreciate Gina Kitts and give her just a shout out for all the ways that she supports us. We made this little slide for her, but we're going to be sending her a card, a gift card in the mail, and all the mentees being recognized today are going to be getting their actual certificates in the mail as well. So Gina Kitts, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your space that you offer for us. And we look forward to another year of working with you, having the community development with you. You've offered so many ways for us to interpret, get our hands up in real settings, your fundraisers on site. We got a good group of local interpreters here that are mentees that can engage on site too, as well as online. So a really good way to get both settings, online and on site. And we appreciate you so much and all the ways that you contribute to our programs. Thank you, Gina. And we're recognizing you as our program partnership appreciation this year. You'll be getting some things in the mail, and we appreciate you. Thank you. Really quick, did you want to say a little something before I pass it on to the next speaker? And if not, we can pass on to Paula, our next speaker. Okay. All right, Paula, are you on board? I spoke briefly about our mentors and all the ways that they help our mentees, support our mentees. So we'll go ahead and wait for a quick transition here. Thank you, Kayla. Mission accomplished success. No doubt, no doubt. And we'll go ahead and transition here between Gina and Paula. Okay, let me just double check and make sure we're all good. Okay.
Are we ready, Amy?
We are getting ready here in 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on with Paula DeMuro. I have known Paula for a really long time. She was, when I was kind of given this task, I started to go back and think to myself, again, I didn't get here on my own accord. I'm just a little puzzle piece of all the great mentors, deaf and hearing, that I was able to follow in the footsteps of, steal signs from. Um, um, Take their instruction, absorb all their workshops, do everything I possibly can, and again, working with them out in professional spaces as we continue to help each other grow in this profession.
Amy, can
So,
you pause please for a second? We don't have an interpreter signing.
okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know.
Do you mind backing up so we can
Sure.
repeat that for deaf participants?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So right now I am introducing Paula DeMuro. She is one of the GAP mentors that we have. She is one of the original, I would say, onboarded mentors, one of the first mentors that I reached out to when I was given this task, because we've been working together for a while. She is coming in just with great credentials, great experiences, and one of the things about just stepping back, about being puzzle pieces of being in a position where we are always learning. As a practice professional, we're always learning. We are always learning from our other mentors and interpreters that have been more advanced or have gone before us. We steal signs and things from from our colleagues and peers, and just help ourselves, become better. So Paula is a great example of that. And I started to think of who would I want on my mentor panel here to support the mentees. And as we started to look at supporting mentees outside of like educational and more in community, Paula is coming in with just so much great experience across all the boards. And so we appreciate Paula being a mentor here, has given so much of her time and energy and dedication to fostering our mentees. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Paula, make sure that we are spotlighted, make sure our interpreters are in place. Yes, okay. All right, Paula, it's over to you.
Hello,
You're
everyone. As Amy said, my name is Paula DeMuro, and my name sign is P, like this, Paula. And I've been in this program now, I think about 2 years. And it's just been an amazing experience for me. I mean, I would say transformational, seriously. And the reason for that is because I have always wanted to be a mentor. I did some mentoring very casually with people throughout the years who asked me for help on various things, but never in really a formal way. And this was my first opportunity to be able to do that. And the reason I wanted to be a mentor was because I really want to be sure that when I retire, and I'm not quite there yet, but when I am, I really want to make sure that there's great interpreters out there for the deaf community. Interpreters with amazing skills, and equally, and maybe more importantly, but definitely equally important, is that they have good attitudes. that they have a heart for deaf people, that they really care about the interpreting profession and the deaf community, and that they're very supportive of each other and lift each other up, work cooperatively, encourage each other, because our profession hasn't always been that way, unfortunately. But I really wanted to see that change. So I wanted to have some small part in making that happen. And this opportunity has given me that. When Amy asked me if I wanted mic time, of course, that was before I knew I'd be mentoring at the same time. And so I can't be here very long because I actually am mentoring the 3 interpreters that are working right now. So I'm getting texts as we're speaking, and that's kind of very crazy. So, but we're all family, so it's okay. I said I wanted mic time definitely, because almost all the people that are on the 10-month that have, that are leaving after 10 months, almost every single one of them has been a mentee of mine. I've had one-to-one time with them and worked with them in various field work opportunities, and I've come to know them and really care deeply about each and every one of them. And so when Amy asked me if I wanted mic time, I said definitely I did, because I wanted to be able to say something to them and let them know how proud I am of them, at their accomplishment, that they didn't give up. I mean, let's face it, this is the road less traveled, right? I mean, this is definitely not the career everybody chooses. It's the road less traveled. But the thing about the road less traveled is that it takes you places you would never otherwise go. It's full of bumps, and it's not smooth. The road isn't smooth. There's twists and turns and all kinds of things. When you come around the corner, there's a new surprise, but it is so rewarding, and it is so worth it when you get to the end of that road. And what I want to say to all of them is that they all hung in there when the going got tough. They didn't quit, even though they wanted to. And I have so much respect and admiration for each and every one of them. And I have a quote that I wanted to read, and I will speak slowly, Sandra. What I want to say to each and every one of them is, you grew because you didn't give up, and because you believe in yourself, because you are stronger than you think you are, and because you have decided to keep going no matter what. And so in closing, what I want to say is, I couldn't be more proud or more happy for each and every one of you. I see a bright future for all of you. You're all going to be the kind of interpreters that I was hoping we'd be leaving for the deaf community. And you all embody everything I hope that you would. But I want you to know that this is when you thought it was tough before. Well, welcome to the interpreting world out in the world, because that actually is when it does get a bit harder. But I know that you're all equal to it. I'm not worried about that at all. But what I want to say about that is another quote, because you know me, I love my quotes. This is the part where you step into your power. This is the part where you finally decide to know your heart. I'm sorry, to honor your heart. Celebrate your worth and embrace your magic. This is not the time to play small. This is not the time to shy away from your courageous heart. My love, no. This is the part where you lean in. This is the part where you give it everything you have. The part where you refuse to give up on yourself. Do not give one more thought to the doubts or fears. Trust yourself. Trust your magic. Congratulations to all of you. You're all very dear to my heart.
All right. Thank you, Paula. Wow, take a moment to reflect on that. And I thank you for those words. Again, thank you for all the ways that you come in and mentor the mentees. All of us are lucky to have each other in this environment, but it also takes each other too. Again, we help each other grow in this field and we don't stop learning in this field. So thank you for sharing those points. Thank you for talking about leaning in and not giving up. Um, I don't know, in our field over with some of our kiddos with, I guess, some of the extinction bursts, we call those extinction bursts. So that moment we're just like, you're going to want to just give up. And that's when great things happen. That's when we push ourselves and we realize what we can accomplish, right? What we can do. Keep focusing on what we can do, what we have the control that we can do, and work on honing in on just developing that too. Appreciate your words so much today, Paula. And we're hopefully going to transition into the next speaker, hopefully a little bit easier than we have been. So hopefully some of the bumps have been smoothed out. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our next speaker. And hopefully I should be able to click on here and man the controls. So hopefully you'll be seeing our next speaker coming up. We are, yay. Lori Cobble. Lori is from our last year's cohort. She came in wanting to develop her skill, studying for her EIPA to take her EIPA there during the course of the cycle. She has finished and passed her EIPA written test. She got her 4.0 in EIPA under our program, and she is working on site now in K-12 every day, experiencing all the ins and outs of what it is to be an educational interpreter and bringing in some of what she learned with the whiteboard. I was going to talk about the whiteboard. Um, I get the wonderful pleasure of waking up to text messages sometimes, getting voicemails and emails from the mentees that are out working and their success stories. It really is a ripple effect. And I mentioned how, I'm coming in as a patchwork of all those great people before me. If you see something, it's from somebody else. It is stolen from somebody else. Take it, steal it from me, use it, use what I give you in these settings. And I always push that multi-visual patterning, having accessibility to visual tools, especially with our deaf and hard of hearing kiddos in that classroom, and the importance of a whiteboard. So I was one morning, I think I was reading a text message, something that Lori was sharing with me about a success that she had, and it centered on a whiteboard. She came in the first time we talked a little bit about her working on site a little bit and some of the things that might come up for her. She showed up that first day prepared, ready to go. She had a whiteboard. I believe the teacher of the deaf in the classroom, who's had several interpreters in that classroom prior to Lori, came up and approached her and was baffled and awe that she had this whiteboard, that she even considered bringing in a whiteboard. It's something like kind of so like a nuance so much. I mean, it's a whiteboard, right? But right away, beyond just, showing that she was there, professional, she was ready to do her work as an educational interpreter. She was ready to go. What it conveyed that day was she showed up ready to be a team player, ready to be in that environment, engaging with the teacher, engaging with the student. And it just fostered right there a great relationship already in that classroom with that teacher. And what it showed her is, here's Lori. She's here, she's ready to go, and she is bringing in her tools to make this environment accessible to her students. So I was thrilled to hear that she did that. She was flashing her whiteboard just now. I am just so proud of all the things that she's accomplished since leaving our program and being in this field. You're going to have to hold that up for my old eyes. You saw me figuring out how to. There you go. Thank you. Says, thank you, ASL OWL team. Thank you, Lori. I'm going to turn it over to you because you are one of our mentees who wanted some mic time today. I am appreciative of you being in our cycle. I want to see you back somehow, some way, if you can continue to engage on any level. We'd love to support you. I am just so proud of all the ripples that are happening and all the mountains you are moving. Lori, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. And you can go ahead and begin. Thank you, Lori. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Okay. First, I want to say thank you to Amy and the whole ASL team, ASL OWL team. I'm so thankful for you all and so grateful for this program. I learned so much during my ASL OWL experience, And I know I could not have achieved my state required EIPA written and the performance as well without the help and support of the ASL team support. So this program is just well-rounded, it's well-structured, and it's organized. And I recommend this program to everybody, every opportunity I get. When I first started with the program, my confidence was low. I had no idea what, if any, interpreting skills I really had. I had no idea even where to start to improve. And in fact, I thought for sure my first feedback session was sure to include the advice to seek a totally different career. So needless to say, my first feedback session went better than I expected, and was instead given detailed feedback and clear goals for development and a confidence to move forward. So ASL OWL offered everything I needed to succeed and more, as long as I was willing to do my part and do the work. Okay. So I want to say thank you for the individualized, goal-driven practice materials. Thank you for the safe place opportunities to practice in real-life interpreting settings. Thank you for the smorgasbord of practice and learning opportunities you made available. Thank you for the wealth of information on what it means to be an educational interpreter and what is involved within the role. Thank you for the hours of one-on-one, goal-focused, detailed, and invaluable feedback. Thank you for your support in skill development and confidence building. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your dedication to the career of educational interpreting and to developing interpreters. Thank you for your support in preparing me to be the best educational interpreter I can be. And thank you for your positive and highly beneficial ASL OWL experience. Thank you.
All right, Lori, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And I just, again, I look forward to seeing it's just the beginning for you. You are just now in that K-12 environment, and I'm just thrilled to hear that you're in there, you're ready, you've developed your toolbox, and you've got some tools to continue developing your toolbox, right? Even though we aren't maybe fully developed in this toolbox, maybe we have some new things that we need to tinker with and develop, we at least know going into those, we've already started out somewhere where at least we know how to start to acquire, right? When you leave this program, you understand what deliberate practice looks like and what it feels like and how to do it. And that's the key piece. We get beautiful feedback back, and there's this thing that says, develop a skill development plan to work on these skills. And that's when we lose it. From there, we don't know where to go, right? So that is something you leave this program knowing how to do, and that you're able to yourself as an interpreter engage in your own lifelong deliberate practice. This is a practice profession. We don't come out the same way we came in. We absolutely don't, and we're not supposed to. So you are a great example to reflect that. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today with that. Because we are a small group, and because we do possibly have a little bit of time, we had a couple of mentees chime in here. We would like to turn it over really quick, a little change of plan, to Nancy Hammond. And then if no other mentees want to speak after Nancy, we'll go ahead and hear from our keynote speaker, Tiffany Johnson, and we'll start to look at the awards and recognize everyone individually. And then we'll be closing up today. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn this over to Nancy Hammond. She's being recognized today for finishing 10 months. She is our program assistant here. One of my right hand, I've got my right hand and my left hand. I got Kate and Nancy. And together we're doing this, we're making it work. And we couldn't have done it without, again, everyone being part of this program to move us forward. Nancy, I'd like to turn it over to you. And you can go ahead and begin. I believe our interpreters are set up and ready to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Mhm.
This is impromptu, so nothing was prepared for this. Sorry, interpreters. I have been with this program since 2021. I believe I started in the fall of 2021. And it's just been an amazing journey as a mentee, and then now working with Amy, and then supporting the mentees who are in the program. When I started, I was not doing any educational interpreting. I'm a community interpreter. Most of my work is medical, meetings, that kind of thing in the community. So I came in with really no knowledge of interpreting in educational settings. So it's been really great because now I have worked in elementary school. I have done IEP meetings. Amy gives us such a wealth of information about exploring the role of an educational interpreter, not just as, here's the information between the student and the teacher, but what our multifaceted role is really in the educational setting. And so I've really gained so much from the discourse mapping that we do. You saw some pictures of our artwork. Mine wasn't there, by the way, I'm sure. But we do that to just work on organizing our thinking and our processes. So I've gained a lot just in terms of discourse mapping, and that applies itself to my work in the community as well. Interpreting for presenters, giving speeches or presentations during meetings. So I just want to say thank you to all the mentors. Paula, I really appreciate everything that you said. It's so true that they are here to just encourage and support the development of interpreters. I've definitely changed a lot and gained new skills. We also have deaf mentors in this program, and one-on-one time with the deaf mentors, as well as their feedback from workshops, is such an amazing thing for us to be able to have and to offer to the mentees coming into the program. So, the feedback varies from mentor to mentor. They all have their own styles, which is great. Amy has her little tick marks that I get to see how much accuracy I had with whatever goals I'm working on. Some of the other mentors are more interactive. Some of them will give you, their notes and you can read them, but all of them bring so much with their varied experience, and most of them have a lot of experience. It just benefits everyone, and I appreciate everyone who's part of this program. Of course, working with Kate is awesome. But the space that has been created here is really, I have to say that I think it's not really only the mentors, it's Amy. Amy has somehow created this space that is consistently just top-notch supportive. It's the information that she gives us she helps us to think outside of, maybe what we've experienced in the past, think outside the box, think about our experiences and really analyze what's happening. Demand control is a lot of that, which I use a lot in my own work. So this safe space is encouraging, but it's also an environment where you're really pushed, and I would say pushed and pulled to participate and to improve your skills. So I probably have taken up too much time. So I just want to say thank you again and I'm sorry if there are people that I didn't mention, but I appreciate all of you. And I really am enjoying being part of the program now on the other side, administratively, and working with Amy. So thank you.
Thank you, Nancy, for sharing. I appreciate that too. And having you serve in a role of administrative assistant has really helped.
Hold on just a second.
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead.
Has really helped, shape our program, give more of that continuity with our fieldwork schedule. And yeah, Sabrina's mentioning here, I don't think she ever sleeps. That's true. Nancy does a lot for our program, and we continue to be appreciative of you, and congratulations today. I'm thrilled to be able to work with you day in and day out as well. Appreciate you. Yeah, she doesn't sleep, I guess. We are a small group here. It's just us, family. I want to just make sure that anyone else has something that they want to come in and mention. I just want to leave time for that. We can use the chat box if anybody wants to have a brief moment of mic time, and then we'll go ahead and transition to our keynote. So I'll just look at the chat box here really quick. Okay, Kayla would like to as well. All right. Kayla, you're being recognized today for 10 months, finishing our program too. Go ahead and jump on. We have a few minutes. Hi, Kayla, how are you? Hey, let's make sure we can hear you.
Thank you. Hi, I am just honored to, first of all, be a part of this program, but also to be recognized today, in addition to all the other people. Thank you again to Amy, who has been excellent throughout all this, keeping me encouraged throughout it. And also thank you to Paula and Nancy as well. I think the big key part of this program that I would really like to speak about is confidence over criticism. Throughout the ITP program, the interpreting program that I went through, it was very difficult because it was constant learning, like to look at yourself, look at your product, and not let the interior, we call it the committee, who likes to tell you what is wrong with what you're doing interpreting wise. So I had a interpreter friend of mine who recommended that you get rid of the committee. And what you do instead is you find those people in your life who really are supportive of your interpreting process, and they find ways that you do things right. One thing that Paula and Amy have taught me is to go through a product, even if you feel like you did a really bad job on it. And at the end of that video that you've already interpreted, you go back and you say, I'm going to watch this and I'm going to look for anything in this video that actually I did good. And I have seen how that has helped me to go from a much smaller EIPA score to the 3.5 that I was able, no, 3.7, excuse me, that I was able to achieve, a little shy of the 4.0, but enough to continue interpreting in lovely Wisconsin. So I just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone for providing again, a safe space for all of us to become the interpreters that we always wanted to be, so that at the end of the day, the kids that we service, whether they are in kindergarten or they're adults, we are able to fully be there for them and also provide an equivalent product. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say.
Congratulations, Kayla. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and take a moment for the interpreters to switch. ASL out is my committee. Irene, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, Kayla, and we see that here. This virtual presentation really incidentally gives us some of the skills that we need in our EIPA environment. How we take that assessment is really like how we work virtually here. We're working on the same things. And incidentally, we've been able to pick up on a lot of the skills. So in our program, and statistically, if we're not seeing a 4.0 EIPA, we're seeing a 0.4 to 0.5 increase from their score they came in with. So it is working. Going back and working in content that is warm, that you don't need to reconcile, and then you hit the interpreting processing model really hard. That's where the learning comes in. So we tend to work a little bit in reverse for that reason. And it's just an approach that has worked for me. It's an approach out of my IT program that we did. And I really want to highlight here the importance of a community, because when we get to the point where there was a point in my ITP where I had to see myself interpret for the first time, right along with 27 other mentees in our program, right along with 27 other mentees and students in our program, who were watching them see themselves for the first time interpret. And I remember that day was just a day of, weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, because we had to reconcile to ourselves, what we looked like, because what we look like is ultimately what that the deaf, hard of hearing child is getting in their environment too. So that was a really hard day for everyone. And it's really hard for us to be able to watch ourselves to do this, but it's the work that we have to do. We have to pop out the eyeballs of the students students that we are working with and put them in our eyeballs and watch ourselves and think to ourselves, how much of this is visually accessible? How can I do this not wrong, right? How can I do this better? I'm not right or wrong, but how can I create a more effective message, construction of message that is more visually accessible? So we want to go ahead and take a look at what that looks like. And in order to understand that, we need to understand how our brain processes the language, how we go from one language to the other. So we do offer ways to explore that. Thank you so much, Kayla, for sharing that with us. And we are going to go ahead and move on. I don't see anybody else in the chat box wanting mic time today who's being recognized. Thank you for those who did come over here and say all your kind words about our program. We are open to feedback always. What you are in this program experiencing right now is a result of different types of feedback, and that we've been able to move our program around, be able to offer things, take things out that aren't beneficial. And so we really, really depend on your feedback, good, bad, and different, anything in between. We need all of it because we want to shape this program and make it a community that has an individual piece and a holistic approach to what we're doing. So we really rely on your feedback to make that happen. Thank you. We'll go ahead and continue our program on. This is going to be our last speaker, and then we'll look into our giving of our certificates for those mentees today. I want to introduce our keynote speaker, if my computer cooperates with me, to my next slide, which is popping up right now, if all works well. Yay. Okay. Tiffany with the whiteboard picture. Hi, Tiffany Johnson. Tiffany is someone who was a GAP mentee. She was in this graduation last year, being recognized for her participation in our mentee program. Uh-oh, no, don't disappear. Uh-oh. I'm going to actually stop sharing here. How about that? Because I would like to make sure everyone can see Tiffany okay. So I've stopped sharing. There we go. That works better on my end too, because I can see everything. Tiffany came into our program also out of a great ITP program, already had a good foundational skill coming in. So was able to jump right in, access our materials, access some professional development, self-analysis right off the bat. She's someone who left our program continuing to get her EIPA 4.0, her written test, and her NIC test, and has come back to join our EMIT program, which is a EIMIT, Educational Interpreter Mentor in Training. Oftentimes you all leave our community and you want to find some way to get back in. We have programs for you. We've got internship. I want to teach you and show you how to mentor, because we need mentors of all kinds. Young mentors, older mentors, everything in between, of all different kinds of wheelhouses. That is how our community works. That's how it has to work, because we work with deaf and hard of hearing individuals all over the place. So, you know, that intellectual resource coming in, having people in different places to mentor from who are have different schemas and experiences, just make this program really well-rounded. Tiffany's been able to come back and do her internship hours with us. She mentored a student, a mentee outside as well. And so she has finished her internship with us, and I am very proud and honored to say she's coming back to be a mentor in our group. She is one of the first mentees to come back and serve as a mentor, to become a mentor, who has finished our program, working on site in education, using the stuff that she's using every single day that she worked in here. And I really am looking forward to her engagement in our program moving forward as a mentor in our program. Tiffany, thank you so much. And I am really proud of you jumping out there, creating that ripple effect. Another person I get text messages from and emails from about success stories, things that are happening, things that she's learning in this program that she uses day in and day out where she is working. And again, just a true example of what this program is really for and what we're all striving to do. Tiffany, I'll go ahead and turn it over. I want to make sure that the interpreters are all ready to go. And I'll turn it over to you when you're ready. Thank you.
Is the interpreter ready? Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. Hi, all of you. Good afternoon. I want to recognize that the reason I decided to sign my presentation I have a few reasons. First, I thought to myself, personally, I would prefer if I were deaf I'd like to speak, if there's deaf people in the audience, I'd like to speak to them directly. And, and if I'm signing, I know what I'm signing. So, and that's the purpose why I'm here, to do this. I wanted to do direct in ASL for the deaf community. Secondly, I thought it was important. So Amy, which she's already done before, to be included in the GAP program. When we do presentations in class, we do them in ASL. So I wanted us, again, to understand the viewpoint of the deaf student. They're, getting the information receptively through their eyes. And that's how the information is presented. And it's important for us to understand that. So, and I thought this was a very good opportunity for all of you to watch from the viewpoint of the deaf student, from watching the ASL. And also, I'm willing, my third reason, I'm from the visual point of view, I want to force the interpreters to practice voicing. Because I've already experienced that myself. Out in the field, I have a lot of opportunity to do that. But for a new interpreter, there really isn't. You need that practice, but there isn't a lot of opportunity for new interpreters. So when I can accompany a deaf professional, like just working with a disguised interpreter, so it's to get the interpreter more experience. So I've noticed that kind of opportunity doesn't show up a lot for new interpreters. It's signing is not required. I could have just given this spoken, but I want to encourage, if you don't have that opportunity, your skills can then start to degrade. And so I want these new interpreters to have the opportunity to practice. And because the students will have, when you don't have a lot of opportunity, it's very hard to get that kind of practice. So at the end of the day, you need to find those. It's important to find that opportunity to practice those skills. So that's the point of my presentation, was to be flexible with that. So some just a little bit of information about myself. My name is Tiffany Johnson, and this is my name sign with a TJ on the shoulder. When I first found the GAP program, it was during COVID, and I felt very lucky, because at that time I was in an ITP in my second to last year, the junior, and I thought for a while, it was my senior year in the fall. I thought I was searching for where I could get information, if for my practicum I had to find an internship or something. I was searching, and I made the contact during COVID, and also it's an important opportunity. The in-person opportunities just dried up. So I was looking, and there just was nothing available. I contacted so many people, but finally I went to a workshop with ACE. Now it's AL. So I went to a workshop, and I took an ACE test in the workshop, and I remember Jacqueline told me, gave information about the program, the mentoring program. And I just definitely grabbed that opportunity immediately. And that's how I met Amy, and she let me know about the program. And I was definitely interested. I immediately joined, and it was the best thing ever. So full disclosure, when I first joined the GAP program, I thought, I'll just try it, see if I want educational interpreting. I really had no plan to become an educational interpreter. But, you know, I was going to college, looking at different fields, possibilities in interpreting. And it's like K through 12, and I didn't really want that. But when I entered the GAP program, wow, I was just fascinated by that. K through 12 is really a lot more than it seemed. We got really deep into the subject. We analyzed things, and there was a lot of opportunities for doing things in K through 12. There's flexibility, a lot of opportunities, and you can affect things and have changes spread out in the community. So that program really inspired me. I was convinced. So I thought about that, and I decided to become an educational interpreter. So I went ahead and took the EIPA. That was in 2021, before I graduated. And the results, I just in the nick of time, I had just contacted someone who was looking for an educational interpreter. And they said, we really need one. And when I got the results, I let them know. And they let me know about the hiring process. So immediately, so that fall, I actually started working full-time in middle school. I was like, yes. Oh, it was just the most wonderful place. So I want to let interpreters know that there were a few deaf students. Some were hard hearing, you know, their hearing was a little bit down, and some were full on just totally deaf. And I worked with English and ASL, some were English, some ASL. Some of the kids were from hearing families. Some kids were from deaf families. It was all over the spectrum. It was a really good experience, helped me develop my skills. And then there was a short statement back in 2021. And then in February 2022, I took the NIC and I passed it. I was so relieved. Wow. And then I started working here at the Emmett as an educational interpreter in the program. And I'm so honored to be here again from a different viewpoint. Before, I was a mentee, and now I'm going to be a mentor. That is so awesome. It's wonderful to see here this community, so many educational interpreters, just like Paula said, the attitude, picking up, improving the skills, and we need that. We need 100% need that. And so when I was planning my presentation, I thought, what can I share with you? What should I focus on? Many of you are older than me. Some of you are recent college graduates. Some have been working in educational settings for a long time and improving slowly. Some haven't started. But you come here to learn in this field, and there's so much variety. And so excuse me, I need tissue, just give me a second. So I'm thinking about really three things. One, you all missed, maybe you've already been working with an interpreter, or soon you're going to become an interpreter if you're already working as, or soon will be. I've noticed, I mean, looking back at my college years, how much I was taught. They informed me, you know, there's so much information about different things, a wide variety, and I had to follow everything that they did. I mean, it's important. I was a new interpreter, so I understand that it's important to follow the list of things they want you to do. But when you go out in the field, you need to get the different philosophies that you'll encounter. And you know, you need to follow the code of professional conduct. Sometimes called the code of ethics, or for educational interpreters, it's NAIE. And you know, so there's the code of professional conduct and the code of ethics, and we have to follow them both. But many there's different philosophical underpinnings for those, and there's just a variety of things. We need to inform people. I want to let people know that you can pick to come up with your own personal philosophy. I mean, you absolutely have to follow the CPC. But professional means it's in training, it's practice. We are a practicing field. And we have to really make our own decisions. Like, maybe you might be afraid to take responsibility. And, you know, with great responsibility comes great power, and with great power comes great responsibility, both ways. So you can switch it. We have the responsibility, but we also have the power. And we can choose and merge a set of rules that fits our philosophy, our approach. And you need, that can be the foundation of all. The second that I want to keep in mind about the philosophy, your approach it's not going to stay the same. It needs to be flexible. It can't be just rigid as a student. So for example, maybe the student is really smart and they already know a lot of things. Maybe they're deaf, and they've already had language exposure. Then you can just just go ahead and interpret. That's it. You know, you can be supportive, assist them, and you don't need to guide them or assist them or anything. They got it. You know, so you're just there to support them. But maybe there's another student who has very limited language exposure, and they come to you and they're being mainstreamed in the classroom, and maybe you need the information. When you're passing the information on to that student, you can't just take it and pass it on like you could with the other student. Like you have to help them with their development. So you get that, you look at the information and see what that student's able to understand, and you have to connect it to that information. You have to, like, their world knowledge, what do they have? And you might have to explain a lot and pick out what they need to know at that time. It's not breaking the rules. It's called scaffolding. You're building the scaffold for them. It's like, if you just say, I'm giving the information just like a regular interpreting, and they're not understanding it, they don't have access. That is not access to the information. So access doesn't mean necessarily passing on every little word. It's picking out the important thing for their level, making it match. You can help them lead them to develop their knowledge structure so they can really learn. And you need to do all of that if you want to be an educational interpreter. And, I know I'm not perfect. we're always continuing to learn, we can always continue to improve skills. That's very important. But always keep in mind, your approach needs to vary. Sometimes you can just interpret directly, and sometimes you need to change to match the needs of that student. You know, you're modeling the language, like the interaction. You can't just like, they may not have a gut feel for how interacting with others is, you know, the right ways and the wrong ways. And like they may walk along and say, oh, they see something they want, and I want that. And you say, wait, no, you want to show them that you can ask for it politely. So I'm lucky enough to have a team with a deaf teacher and an assistant who's an interpreter. And so we work together. And we do role play. So we can have how to interact with other people, how to ask, how to be respectful to other people. It's also important to be respectful of one another. And we demonstrate that by our actions, how we act around people. You have to be flexible. There's a whole spectrum of the students with how they have different needs. And like Paula said, today's the time to grab this opportunity to you have the power. And that's the idea. So this time, own it. Own your space as an interpreter. You know that you can be flexible. You know, you can be an interpreter, a tutor, an educational assistant. You can do all of that. You can own it. Never limit yourself. Really try to think outside the box. My third point, this is my last point. So during college, once in a while I would let my teacher know I was thinking about educational interpreter. They were deaf, they were very skilled, and they would look at me and they said, I encourage you to not do that. Educational interpreters need to be really skilled. Oh, if you become an educational interpreter, your skills are just going to go downhill. So when I entered the world of interpreting, I noticed that the people tend to think that's educational interpreters, that if you're there, you're just not getting enough practice. And if you do that, you're going to lose your skills. And the college student who recently graduated told me they did not want to be an educational interpreter because they didn't want to lose their skills. And so I've been thinking, you know, the reason that people tend to notice that, if it happens, but it can happen, but it does not have to. It's not fast, you know, there's no hard and fast rules about this. And people get labeled that way because sometimes it does happen, but it doesn't have to keep doing that. So we can take the opportunity to change that. We have to change that. So that's why, so when you're here in the program, that means you're not out in the world. When you're out in the world, you don't have to just like, oh, I'm fine, I don't need to practice or anything. No, because you're in this program, you know that you can continue to improve your skills one step at a time. This is a step, and you just need to continue learning. And I encourage you all, with that attitude, never just sit back on your laurels and be satisfied. Never. So like yesterday, we were practicing and talking about improving your skills. You can analyze how you did. You know, it's not bad, but how can you improve it? How can you make it better? So you look at that product and you can, how can you make it more visual? That's something you can focus on. We know we need to do that, but it has to keep improving. So again, I was lucky interpreter to be in this area. With the deaf, it's a small deaf community, but there's enough deaf people, so I wasn't like hurting for lack of practice. in some places they don't have enough interpreters. Maybe you're the only interpreter. Maybe there's only a deaf interpreter, but maybe encourage you to you have to do consecutive interpreting, but keep developing your skills, take advantage of the opportunities, keep your enthusiasm, and you can keep improving your skills. You don't have to let them go downhill. And you don't have to just keep them where they are. You can get better. So in my opinion, I inform my mentees, there's no excuse for skills declining in educational interpreting. Especially with the internet, wow, there's so many opportunities. There's a lot of there's a lot of opportunities for learning. There's workshops on Zoom, and in this technological age, there's no reason to let your skills decline. There's so many resources out there. They're everywhere. And like Amy has sent me email and she sent you my email, my contact information. I have a lot of resources. If you're looking for some, I can give you a lot of resources. You know, and Amy, of course, also has a large number of resources for you. So the point is, in this program, in the GAP program, when you've graduated, but I encourage you to stay involved. When you're finished and you stay involved, we're a community of practice, and we're your community. We're partners. We can help each other. We give feedback to each other. I still keep contact with Amy and other people to help with that. And it's important that discussing different points of view, getting feedback from different points of view is the antidote to prevent boredom or exhaustion, burnout, like doing the same thing same student all the time, all day. You can burn out if that happens, but you need to be connected to the community of practice so you can support and encourage each other, explore different ways of working, building up your self-esteem and your self-confidence. That is so important. And some more advice, practice voicing practice, you know. And that's the reason I'm signing now. As an educational interpreter, it's easy to avoid voicing, but don't do that. This is so important. You know, maybe the student may talk for themselves. Maybe you don't need this voice for them during that. But if you're watching them, you can, if you're like off, you can watch and practice voicing for people. So I encourage you to take all of these opportunities. Keep your skill in signing, of course, but also in voicing. They're both very important. And, you know, the state requirements vary depending on what state you're in. If you're working in educational, maybe you're not certified in that community, I encourage you to try to take the test and get certified. If you get really immersed in the full-time K through 12 education, it's possible. You do need to match your skills, but that variety is probably not enough. You need to, you know, once a week, once a month, try working outside of K through 12 to get exposure for different people in the deaf community with also with adults. It's important to stay connected to the deaf community, to be involved, and to get those different aspects, those different viewpoints. And of course, they encourage us to do that. And my last piece of advice something I just learned myself. All of us here are ASL interpreters. We're focused on our, we want to be successful interpreters. But you remember, this field, it can be all consuming. Getting involved, interpreting for a lot of different things. If it's all educational, if you do that all the time and ignore the other parts of your life, that everyone else you push aside, you need to bring that back front and center and analyze it to pick out what is your passion. Yes, ASL interpreter, but what else? Who are you if you're an interpreter? What do you do when you're not required to support, encourage, whatever, to feed the information to other people in the field? We tend to focus on other people, and it's easy to do that. Like for a cup, you drink it, because you're giving from your cup all the time. It's important to refill whatever your passion for, writing things, exercising, art. Amy's an artist. So you need to find, like her, you need to find that passion, and you need to do that too. So really, it's best if you can do it. You can do it on your own. Maybe you won't have any support from people because other people need these things, and you're still giving of yourself. You can't let yourself be empty. You have to fill back up, regain your passion. So you need to be, you don't have to be perfect. I know as interpreters, we want to continually increase our skills, but you need to find something fun that maybe you're not very good at. Like swimming. I am lousy at swimming, but I love the water. I love swimming, just moving my body. I feel free. Like, I'm not trying to improve anything. There's no perfection that I'm looking for. It's just being me, being myself, and doing, what I need to fill myself back up so I can go back to the school as an educational interpreter, and I can continue giving everything of myself. And I can give my best. That's all I have. Thank you for watching. And thank you to Amy for inviting me to do this presentation. And if you need any resources, encouragement, or anything like that, please contact me. Amy has my phone number. And also Paula. And there's a lot of new people, but Paula is really experienced. So from when I was new, she is so supportive of interpreters. And she can help you get that practice you need. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Tiffany, for that message. Round of applause for Renee. This is our practice space for voicing, right, Renee? Awesome work. That is some rough stuff, but you did it, girl. Good job with that. Absolutely. It's just us here. We can do this, right? Awesome. Tiffany, thank you so much. Some of the things that you were talking about was the zone of proximal development, the ZPD. We all know that if you're in our gap cycles and learning about children and how children learn, a zone of proximal development, ZPD. So that's looking at the models by Vygotsky. That's Vygotsky, Vygotsky. One of the early cognition theorists.
Can you pause a moment? We don't have an interpreter.
Okay, we have interpreter Renee signing on my end.
I think she needs to switch. She's been trying to switch.
Yeah, it's a switch,
Okay.
but I think Sandra can't see me, I think, so she doesn't know.
Okay.
Switch. Oh,
okay, Sandra's
okay.
ready. Okay. All right,
Thank
so
you.
Vygotsky is, thank you, Kate. Vygotsky is Vygotsky, Vygotsky. So it's the model of theory, the zone of proximal development. So you're looking at what the student can do individually, what they need to do with some help, and what they do need, what they cannot do at all, right? So we are looking at analyzing, how children learn, how we learn. And then she also highlighted the fourplex model in that I teach often in the GAP cycle about understanding and identifying our roles, unpacking our roles, and the several platforms that we stand on in that educational space. So tutor, interpreter, aid, advocate, our fourplex model, and that ties into a lot of our DCS or demand control schema also of how we occupy those spaces, how we come in and own the space of that. And one takeaway out of my ITP, and as part of what I share out there, something coming into my ITP, coming out of there is realizing for the first time that I was hearing that I was given permission to own the space that I was in. And not only permission, but it was required of me to own and manage the space that I occupy in that classroom, and that you are the filter of that information. And if you halt, if you need time, if you need to back up and repeat, you own that space and you manage your interactions with that space too. So really good takeaways, Tiffany, for that. Thank you so much for your words. Congratulations, and I look forward to working with you professionally moving forward in programming for our mentee program. Absolutely. We're going to move into doing the certificates, and I did do a PowerPoint, but my issue when I share PowerPoint is I don't get to see anyone's faces with that. So if anyone who's tech savvy could help me out with that, that'd be great. I want to be able to see faces, but I am going to start presenting the awards that you will be getting physically in the mail. I'll be sending these out to you in a cover here, so do confirm your address with me. These are going to be a copy here of the physical copy of the certificate you're going to be getting in the mail here, okay, over the next couple weeks. So let me go ahead and start my slideshow picking up from there, because I did find a way to get these on a slideshow, but I want to be able to see your faces too. So let's just play around with it and see what we can make work out with that. And I'll keep it like this if everyone's okay with it, so that way everyone can see the person coming up next. But I just want to, let me get rid of my interpreter box. Here, I see Sandra. Sandra's looking good. And I'm just going to put you on the top. And is it okay for everyone if I just do this presentation where we see who's being recognized here in this screen, and then I'll be able to show you upcoming who's coming up here next so people know. The first certificate of recognition we want to give to, these are acknowledging our mentees who finished 10 months. Some of them have finished 10 months and come back into our TERP Polish program. Some of them started in TERP Polish and joined the GAP mentorship program. So that's what's beautiful about our program and sharing the fieldwork schedule. Hi, Joan, is that we get to work with everybody who is in our TERP Polish and GAP program. And since they're interchangeable, if you needed to take a break or a hiatus and jump in, again, we're always trying to find a way to work with you and support you throughout your process. So Joan is coming in with us from California. She's actually from around my home turf. We actually incidentally wound up knowing a few people. I got to learn from that experience. We did a stimulus in winter in our GAP cycle for Ellis Island, where we explored a text, a spatial map, and a GISH model about the history of Ellis Island. And just by chance, Joan and her husband Jim were able to go visit during a vacation there. They were able to take some pictures, and I just thought it was really great after that study to be able to just go and see it, because we often talk about how important that schema is, how important to know what that looks like, feels like, so we can bring those aspects and elements into that analysis of just some of the coursework that we do in our GAP cycle. Joan has continued to just improve. I look forward to continuing to support you, Joan, moving forward in this program. She's now in our TERP Polish program, working on some other areas of study. Just recently in the mail, I did receive this beautiful owl pendant to honor for today too, and recognize today, and I'm very thankful of that. Thank you for sharing this. Thank you for being in our program, Joan. I'm very proud of your development. Congratulations to you. Awesome, God. Really appreciate the help. Good. Yes, we appreciate you being here. And you have worked so hard, every field work. And that's the thing. If you are in these spaces working and working, development is going to happen, right? Because you expose yourself to being uncomfortable. And it's those spaces and uncomfortable where we start to access things that we didn't know we had that were buried under there that we can pull on up and say, okay, how can I use this, right? So we have to put ourselves sometimes in uncomfortable positions because that's where we really grow when we challenge ourselves. So Joan, I appreciate you in this program. Congratulations. Yeah, everyone jump on and a round of applause. Lori, we heard from you already as well. Lori, again, I just repeat what I said about you already, coming in ready for the field, ready with your toolbox. A lot of you talked about not having the skill or figuring out what that skill development piece is. So coming in knowing already some of the language where we have these professional conversations are so important. We're going to have some pretty interesting professional conversations where we're going to have different perspectives and be able to take away our perspective for a minute and see their perspective so we can get a better idea of the whole picture. Lori, congratulations on your success, and I look forward to supporting you in the future. Reach out if you ever want to come back here for any way. We're here and we'd love to support you. Congratulations. And we'll be seeing you again in the next round. Okay. Okay, Irene Cullen. Hey, Irene, congratulations. Irene finished 10 months of our cycle from Ohio, came in, developed skill, had to, work on a lot of things, have the same challenges that we all work in, and every single time took that time to just be self-reflective about it, take a moment to pause and come back in for a different approach, a more effective approach. Irene, I appreciate that about you, that you always come back with that self-reflection piece and you force yourself to have that self-reflection and move forward. And that's tough for some people, and you really are able to do that. You've been able to build up enough confidence now where you are a working interpreter doing this virtual interpreting in this space now and coming with some great tools. Congratulations, Irene. And we look forward to supporting you in the future. Congratulations. Nancy Hammond. Coming back as an assistant, thank you so much. Finished 10 months of cycling, was in that, has since moved into chirp polish and utilizing our mentor services more for professional development as well. Nancy takes care of our fieldwork schedule and does so many other roles in our organization here. Congratulations, Nancy, on your 10 months. And we look forward to having you having you on board with us. Helping us keep this thing moving forward. Congratulations and thank you for everything that you do for our community here. Taylor McLaren is not present today. She is in Oklahoma. She came in with just some skill sets, came in, helped her develop some goals and objectives. She went through the cycles, developed a whole lot of her skills, engaged in her goals and objectives, and I look forward to seeing her in the future. We never know who we might cross in the future, but we look forward to having Taylor in our classes, very interactive, very much a person of also self-reflection, was able to engage in a lot of the discussion of what we're doing. And we wish her congratulations as well for finishing 10 months of cycle. Melissa Meekins has also finished 10 months. She is one of our local North Carolina interpreters, someone who's always trying to come in and develop her goals and objectives, get more involved in the deliberate practice piece, something that she is really good at. Worked a lot on spatial mapping, and I think that was one of her takeaways in this program was getting that sense of that spatial mapping that you saw in the slides there. We draw things out. We try to get rid of the English, get away from the English, figure out how to visually scaffold. Tiffany talked about that scaffolding piece, that visual layering of how we build anchors and layer information and foster learning. Melissa is really, really great at just developing the skill, a lot of great improvement with that as a skill set. Congratulations, Melissa. I look forward to working with you down the road. Kalijah Mitchell is in DC, now a student at Gallaudet. When he joined our program, he's in North Carolina. We were supporting him under his practicum program with a local ITP student. He is someone that demands a great amount of presentation, a beautiful platform, interpreter, honing in on just that skill development, being able to identify on what needed to be worked on and improved on. He engaged often in our field work opportunities, and that's just really, really important to get that work, on demand, in the moment, that impromptu piece. That's really start to develop your strategies for what that's going to look like. Kalijah always engaged in field work and was just so dynamic in our conversations from different views and different perspectives. We appreciate his work in our fieldwork schedule. We want to honor him for finishing 10 months, and he continues to get supported in our Turk Polish program. So we still see him in our fieldwork schedule as well. So most of these mentees that we're seeing here, they're still here and they're going to still be with us. So we're recognizing one part of something that they've completed, but learning does not stop for anybody. So a lot of our mentees, we continue to see them moving forward. So congratulations, Kalijah, on this certificate of a recognition for 10 months of cycle programming. And I look forward to continuing to support you in Turk Polish. Kate Paincho is also from North Carolina, works in more of the community realm of her setting. Came in with a lot of great advocacy skills, advocacy language, and really brought that into our group. We appreciate Kate for her insights with working with people with multiple disabilities, which was an asset that she came into our learning space with. We recognize her for 10 months of cycle programming. Congratulations, Kate. Sabrina Smith, another North Carolina interpreter. Sabrina joined us 10 months of cycle, wrapping up, and I think moving into Turk Polish, I think too. Finished up in the cycle, and we're continuing to support Turk Polish for you. Working on that EIPA, but coming in, engaging in field work. We were able to do some on-site work briefly, and that was wonderful. Having her just out in the setting and in the field, another one who joins into field work and is always able to be reflective in her work, asking questions about her work, really exploring what her product and what her work looks like. Sabrina, appreciate you. Congratulations, 10 months in our cycle program. I'm looking forward to continuing to support you through your EIPA development. We're working on it. It will happen. It will happen. Thank you so much for being in our program, and I look forward to supporting you. Congratulations. Kayla Steffengren. Hello, Kayla. Congratulations, 10 months finished our program. Again, continuing to still be engaged in our program and field work, able to jump into field work spaces and have the conversations that need to be had, even when they're uncomfortable, even when you're vulnerable, still being able to come into this space and open yourself up to that feedback just to make yourself grow and be better. That's something that we hear coming out of Kayla's mouth all the time. Kayla, I appreciate your spirit coming in, the spirit that you bring into these environments, and your level of engagement and that self-reflection and self-development. Appreciate you. Happy 10 months of gap cycle programming. Congratulations. And I look forward to supporting you in the future and seeing where you go with this. I'm going to take a moment really quick to check the chat box and switch over interpreters. I see Tess is on. And so we'll take a moment just for an interpreter switch, and I'll check the chat box here really quick. We do want to wish overall congratulations for everyone finishing the 10 months of cycling. And again, moving forward, let us know how we can keep you engaged, what you need from us professionally, continue mentoring. We have a lot of other mentorship programs set up like Turk Polish that we can really support you with. Okay. Our next group are going to be those that got a 4.0 and above on their EIPA while in our mentorship program or after leaving. So today we want to go back and we're going to recognize a few overlap people you've seen already. So we are going to recognize Lori Cobble. Congratulations on the EIPA written test. and the EIPA performance test. Boom, boom, boom. You got everything you need right now. So hold tight. We'll see if RID is going to bring back hopefully that Ed K-12 certification. If they do, you know, you're pretty much set to go. For you, it's a fee and it's an application and you're set, right? So we're looking forward to that. We hope that that's the situation. We want to bring that back on the table. If you can get ready to get your BA or equivalent, you get your written test in EIPA, you get your performance 4.0 and above. If that decision gets made again, if we get that down here again, it could be a big possibility for you. So just keep building your toolbox. Congratulations on adding this into your skill set. Congratulations on 4.0 EIPA. Irene, Colin, happy 4.0 and above. We are proud of you. Again, engaging in that. Taking it, was this a first time? Really quick, was it first time, right? So that happens for some of us, right? Awesome job. Again, I think if you just engage and continue the work. If you haven't gotten that 4.0 and above, what we are seeing is 0.4 or 0.5 increase, right? And progress is progress no matter what. Moving forward is still moving forward, no matter what. And this is a good example of that, just continuing to do it. Those of you who didn't get that 4.0, you're just shy of it, keep at it. It will happen. That space will reconcile for you. We'll get there. Okay. Congratulations, Irene, on your 4.0. We are looking forward to supporting you professionally as you are working in professional settings, virtual interpreting. Congratulations. Make sure I haven't skipped really quick. Ashley Davidson, another mentee who came in just tenacious and kind of had a first an EIPA experience that didn't go so well, vowed that she wasn't going to let that be her case. She rescheduled right away as she was able to, did a test almost back to back because of that, reported back her scores of above a 4.0, got it nailed, just did it. Even in the not best circumstances, she still hammered it out. Congratulations, Ashley, on your 4.0 EIPA. Good job, just continuing at it even when it got rough, and you did it. Awesome job. Sally Perobi, we have coming in from Maryland. Congratulations, Sally, on your 4.0 and above EIPA score. Your engagement was brief with us, and that's all you needed. Sometimes people just come in and they just need
Hold,
a
please.
mentor to be.
Okay,
And
perfect.
thank you. And sometimes you just need that brief mentorship. You already know what you need to hammer out. You just need that refocus, re-engagement in a skill development plan. Sally, I appreciate you being in our program using our mentorship services. Congratulations on your 4.0 and above. We'll be sending this out to you in the mail with a gift. Everybody will get their certs and their gift in the mail. Okay. Congratulations, Sally. Dr. Eric Smith utilized our mentee services, now serves at ASL OWL Board of Directors as Vice President. We recognize his accomplishment today with getting the 4.0 and above. Congratulations, Dr. Eric Smith. He also runs our religious track. So again, it's just one more thing in his toolbox that he's able to offer his mentees and the interpreters using his religious track for education and a growth and professional development. Congratulations, Dr. Eric Smith, on your 4.0 and above. And thank you for being an important part of our ASL OWL board of board members. Thomas, congratulations, coming to us from Arizona, I believe. Yes, thank you, from Arizona. Engaged in our program, did what he needed to do, active on Go React, really in the content and stimulus of Go React, worked in that, in and out, up one way, down in another, had to just reframe a few things, just up a few things, and he nailed it. 4.0 and above. Thomas, congratulations. To your 4.0 and above. Great work, great work. Hannah Warren. Hannah is one of our North Carolina interpreters, local interpreters as well, works in our community here. Congratulations on your 4.0 and above score, working out in the field, getting that real work experience, that impromptu trial and error, that, oh no, what can I do right now? And a lot of those things that we get, we bring into the field of interpreting too. Congratulations, Hannah, on your 4.0 and above. And I look forward to supporting you moving down in the future as needed. So you're local, so good to have some local peeps too. All right. Congratulations, everyone. I appreciate all your time and energies, your trust in our mentorship program here. Again, if there's any feedback at all, please let us know. Again, I want to just give a brief thank you here for joining. If you need more information, please feel free to email me. I'm actually going to stay on here a little bit. You're free to go. I'll stay on here a little bit more just to answer any questions, clarify anything. If you need anything, I'll be on here for a few more minutes. Okay. Thank you for showing up, everyone. I'm going to stop sharing so I can see everybody again. I like to see everybody's faces if you guys are on. And have a great day. Happy Saturday. Thank you for taking the time out today to be here, to support each other in our small little group. We are small, but there's a lot of talent here, a lot of charisma, a lot of wanting and knowing that, we need to do better and we can do better. We can be more effective, right? We can do this. Congratulations, everyone. And those of you taking EIPA here pretty soon, we're here for you. We got you. Okay. If it's good, bad, or we still got you. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Good job, interpreters. Thank you so much, interpreters. Renee, Bain, Tess, and Sandra, 3 of our mentees here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for interpreting. Awesome work. We can go ahead and end the recording.